Hi everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Jody, and I share content about intentional living, motherhood, DIY, homeschool, all kinds of things. Thanks so much for listening in today. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the final video from my 2024 Life Reset. So if you're new here, this is something that I have been undertaking throughout the entire month of January, just slowly reincorporating daily and weekly habits, as well as some other miscellaneous things that fell away over the holiday season in December. Basically, just trying to get life back on track. And as a busy mom, I find this kind of thing can take more time than it used to before I had kids. So I decided this year to take the entire month of January to reset all of my habits and practices rather than trying to reincorporate everything really quickly and just set myself up for failure. So this will be the last video in this series, and I'm excited to share with you today an update as to how week 4 went, and generally just some thoughts that I have about how the entire month-long process went, as well as a little insight into some of the items that I struggled with, in hopes that that insight might be helpful for you as well. So without further ado, let's just get right into the update for how week 4 of the 2024 Life Reset went. So overall, week 4 was a good week. I continue to have successes with my daily and weekly habits and practices, such as getting up ahead of the kids, incorporating my morning routine, daily body movement, as well as my daily and weekly resets. So if you're looking for more information on all of that, head back on to my updates from weeks 1, 2, and 3, where I delve into a little bit more detail about all of those things. As mentioned in my video update from week 3, one of the things I was carrying forward into week 4 was the tasks around meal prep. So more specifically, I was really trying to incorporate more meal prep sessions throughout the course of the week so as to ensure we were in less of a scramble around snack and meal times. And although I was able to implement more of this than I had the week prior, I still didn't get quite as much done as I wanted to. So that's something that I need to continue working on. And I do believe that when we're not having success at something, it's important to step back and take a closer look at why that might be. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more as soon as I've finished with the week 4 and overall 2024 Life Reset updates, so stay tuned for that. As for the new things that I was incorporating this past week, I had overall mixed success. I was largely focusing on more administrative tasks, the miscellaneous things that kind of just linger around. And so I was successful at completing some digital decluttering. I moved a ton of files off my computer and was able to do some cleanup on my social media accounts. My phone, however, remains completely maxed. So the digital decluttering is not quite finished, but I was able to make some progress on that item, so that was great. As for the various administrative tasks, truthfully, didn't have a lot of backlog there, so I did spend some time tidying up a few things, but that one wasn't too bad to begin with, so it went quite well. And that's really it for week 4. Again, just a couple of additional tasks I was incorporating into that week, as well as just trying to continue with those that I had reincorporated earlier in the month. Overall, I would say that the 2024 Life Reset was successful. I do feel like the Life Reset was able to get us back into a rhythm and routine in our daily lives, which was really the whole goal to begin with. So I'm happy with how it went, and definitely think I will be doing this again next year. And one additional thing I want to touch on in today's video is why we experience these successes for some things and failures for others when we're trying to make change in our life. I think it's very easy to tell ourselves that the reason we haven't been successful at something is because we don't have the time to do it. And I firmly believe that we have time in our lives for everything that is truly important to us. We have time for that which we prioritize. So a strategy that I find to be really helpful when I'm encountering difficulties in accomplishing something is to rephrase how I'm approaching it. Rather than saying, I don't have time for this, instead look at it and phrase it as, this isn't a priority for me. The difference, I think, in the language that you use around that is that by saying something isn't a priority to you, rather than saying that you don't have the time for it, is it gives you back a sense of control over your life. I'm choosing to not do this because it's just not that important to me. And that's okay if there's things that aren't important to you. Not everyone is going to have the same priorities. But ultimately, rephrasing how you approach it from I don't have time to it's not a priority can have an incredible impact on your trajectory forward with respect to that item. What this rephrasing does is it forces you to pay more attention to how you are actually spending your time. Once you start telling yourself that you're not doing something because it's not a priority, rather than because you don't have time, you start to pay more attention to how you actually spend your time. So you're going to start to notice pockets of time in your day that perhaps you're not making the most productive use out of. And if you shift how you spend those pockets of time, or if you shift your day so those pockets end up clumped more together to give you a bigger allowance of available time, you'll find that you suddenly have more time for the tasks that perhaps you once thought you didn't have time for. And I want to be abundantly clear here. I'm not suggesting that every minute of every day needs to be output time. You don't need to be actively engaging in tasks and activities all day long. Rest is a productive use of your time. And ensuring that you're incorporating time to rest into your day is just as important as ensuring you're incorporating time to do other things, such as daily movement, into your day. The idea here is not to allocate every minute of every day to busy work or busy activities. The idea is to approach the day from a place of feeling as though you have control over it and being intentional about how you're spending that time. So if you find yourself saying, I don't have time for that, or I just don't have bandwidth for that right now, what I offer to you is to instead rephrase that as, this is not a priority for me, and see how it sits. Give it some time. It may not be immediate that you begin to take note of this additional time that you have in a day. It may take a little bit, but I genuinely think that if you're rephrasing your approach to some of these habits and practices that you're having difficulty implementing in your life in that manner, that it gives back to you a sense of control over your life, and you will be more intentional with your time. And that's really it for today, friends. I do hope that you were able to find some value and some inspiration in this entire series and some of the intentional living concepts and ideas that I've shared throughout. Thank you so much for listening in. Thank you so much for following. Moving forward, I'm going to be sharing some more intentional living content. I have a bunch of ideas for video series that I'd really like to share with you, largely centered around time management and organization. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of that. And in the more immediate future, I'm going to be sharing with you some travel content. So if travel is on your list, make sure you're following along so you don't miss any of that as well. Thanks so much again, everyone. I really appreciate you being here. Have a great day.